mi permetterebbe di avere gli altri di scorta. Chiaramente Robinson Crusoe è stato un romanzo epocale, un romanzo che ha potuto, come vi dicevo prima, fornire un bagaglio, diciamo così, a chiunque sia rivolto, sia che fossero storici, sia che fossero teorici della società o dell'economia, e rappresenta veramente l'eroe, il primo eroe moderno per antonomasia. Concludo dicendo che Robinson Crusoe rimarrà da solo nell'isola per 12 anni fino a che non incontrerà un selvaggio, che lui chiamerà poi Venerdì. Lo incontra liberandolo perché stava per morire con un sacrificio da parte di un gruppo di cannibali. Robinson uccide i cannibali e salva Venerdì. Come li uccide? Li uccide col suo moschetto, e cioè ancora grazie a quella polvere da sparo che lui era riuscito a portarsi in salvo dalla nave prima della sua distruzione. E questo ci riporterebbe a Wilmington e magari ci riporterebbe anche al nostro Donaldson Brown, che dopo aver inventato il ROI è stato preso a lavorare in un'altra azienda che si trovava in Gramaglie e che si chiamava General Motors, ma questo evidentemente porterebbe a raccontare un'altra storia, per cui io mi fermo, sono stato nel tempo, vi ringrazio per l'attenzione, se volete che rimaniamo in contatto questi sono i riferimenti.
Thank you very much, Alberto. Thank you also for respecting the time limit to the second. And I would open to the questions and answers. And we have a comment, an interesting comment in the chat, from which perhaps we could begin. As before, I pray you to stay really within a few seconds, because we don't have much time, just five or 6 minutes. So the comment is about a project of memoryscape, a neologism they use to describe it, which is being built, which is being realized in London. And I understand that Serge wanted a comment from Elisa about this.
Thank you.
Elisa, I'm assuming that you have access to this chat and you can read.
Yeah, of course, Stefano. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you also, Serge, for your interesting question. I really like your question. Thank you for the concept of immersive experience to create a relation with us, with our landscape, is a theme of research and experimentation. I really like. For instance, this is what I can send you a link of John Sword, a geographer of Northumbria University, Newcastle in England, that argued when he tried to explain the importance to build an immersive experience in this kind of landscape of heritage, landscape of complexity, paying attention to when you have to respond to translate the historical events into other forms. This is the reason why researchers are interested in how people respond to immersive experiences, memories with personal histories, to highlight what they cherish as heritage, or perhaps uploading photos of family relating to events, etc. So in other words, I would like to say that memoryscapes exist. I'm wondering now, but not this, we had no more time, if it is now possible to communicate to the present community these stories and also the awareness of those places in which today people live, how the interaction between man and the environment can be a way to respond to the today changes in humans' relationship with the environment. So this is a very hot topic, Serge. Thank you. I send you, and for all this link, this is another example of John Sword and the geographer I talk about, and with his project about memoryscape. This neologism is very interesting. Thank you again. I think your microphone is mute.
Yes, it was. I'm sorry. I was just saying perhaps we have time for one other quick question from the audience. Otherwise, I invite also Elisa and Alberto to share their email address. Alberto has done it also in slides, so that perhaps conversation may continue even beyond these limits that we have imposed on ourselves. It seems that there aren't other questions, and it's 3:20, which is to say that it's the time at which we should conclude this panel. At this point, I don't know if the members of Humanities for Change want to intervene directly, or I can, okay, I see Giulia, who is going to host the next panel, actually the keynote. And so perhaps she would like to invite us to join her in 10 minutes.
Yes, thank you so much, Stefano. So first of all, I would like to give the floor to Professor Franz Fischer for his institutional greetings on behalf of the Bania Center for Digital and Public Humanities.
Giulia, here I am. I was supposed to welcome Jeffrey on behalf of the center, but he hasn't yet arrived, so I don't know if this is so useful if I welcome Jeffrey when he's not yet arrived.
Okay, so I'm sure he will be here for the time of the keynote. I know you wanted to invite our guests to another event.
This is actually an announcement I can make also in his absence. So Jeffrey Schnapp also accepted a second invitation in the context of this study day, and he will be present another time, so virtually in Venice at our center and at Ca' Foscari on Wednesday in 2 weeks, 16 December at 5 p.m., so in the Italian afternoon, and he will be in easy conversation with our students, colleagues, and participants about his MetaLab project or initiative. So an experimental platform for modeling new forms of cultural communication, creative and critical practices, and knowledge production. So that's, I'm sure he will refer to this initiative also during his keynote in a minute, but so there will be a lot of time for posing questions and also to discuss other projects of Jeffrey Schnapp. We will disseminate the announcement through all our channels, and I'm sure, so Humanities for Change is involved anyway, and so I hope everyone interested will find the specific details for this event. So Wednesday, 16 December at 5 o'clock.
Excellent, thank you so much. So what I can do now is presenting Jeffrey Schnapp to our attendees on Zoom, and I think soon also on YouTube. My name is Giulia Pellizzato. I am an associate researcher at the Department of Romance Languages and Literatures at Harvard University, and I'm very excited to introduce this lecture by Professor Jeffrey Schnapp. He will arrive soon. So while each panel of this conference investigates a specific facet of public humanities, this lecture will tackle the overarching question of information and knowledge, or if you will, the question of how to make knowledge matter in an ocean of freely accessible contents. It is our privilege to learn and talk about this with Jeffrey Schnapp, who is Professor of Romance, Languages and Literatures and Comparative Literature in the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, and also teaching faculty in the Department of Architecture at Harvard's Rogers School of Design. He is the founder and director, as Franz said, of the Harvard Meta Lab, the faculty co-director of the Berkman Klein Center for Internet and Society at Harvard, and the chief visionary officer at Piaggio Fast Forward. So the list of his publications, awards, and achievements is definitely too long for these few minutes. So I thought of offering 3 vantage points, inviting you to find more on the vastness of Jeffrey's work after this lecture. So the first one is definitely the Harvard Meta Lab, which Jeffrey founded and directs. And I think it is itself exemplary of Jeffrey's approach. It is a community of scholars, designers, artists, makers, and technologists, but also curators and educators who are engaged in modeling new forms of cultural communication and knowledge production. A second vantage point is Jeffrey's involvement in rethinking libraries beyond the physical book, from academic publications like the Electric Information Age book, the Permanent Library of the Now, or the Library Beyond the Book, but also in a very concrete sense, Jeffrey Schnapp experimented new forms of libraries as multifunctional knowledge sharing spaces. So for example, in 2016, the Cabot Science Library here at Harvard was redesigned according to the recommendations of a faculty committee led by him. And in 2012, the Meta Lab created Library, a pop-up library experiment dedicated to exploring future scenarios for the library. A third trajectory could be, I think, Jeffrey's contribution to the ongoing conversation involving computational methodologies, digital media, and the arts and humanities fields. He is often presented as a cultural historian, an expert of knowledge design, and an active entrepreneur. But in this sense, I think he can be considered a cultural innovator and also a public humanist. I hope you will agree, Jeffrey. So now that I see you, I'm happy to welcome you on behalf of Marco Sartor, chair of the organizing committee for this conference, and also welcome you from the side of the steering committee of Humanities for Change. And just as an information, Jeffrey's lecture will be followed by a Q&A session lasting until 4:25 Central European Time. So it will be open to our attendees both on Zoom and YouTube.